Hi, my name is Ann Edison, and as I promised you, I'm going to tell you the story of the Ted Bundy from Brazil. His name is Francisco de Assis Pereira. So, Francisco de Assis Pereira was born in Guaraci, São Paulo, on November 29th, 1967. His childhood was not a very good childhood, as most serial killers. But I just found out something very interesting that his mother thinks he's cursed because she didn't keep a promise to São Francisco de Assis, who's a saint. Yes, he's the protector of the animals and the poor people. So she gave him this name because of this saint. And she made a promise because when he was a little boy, a splinter entered his ear and they couldn't take it off. And so she tried to take it off, she couldn't, and then she took him to the doctor, they couldn't. And she made a promise that if the splinter went out, she would dress him as the saint. But she didn't keep the promise. And so she thinks that he was cursed because of that. And that's why he's that monster. Now, I must warn you, this story might contain triggers. So, his mother's sister, his aunt, named Diva, used to sexually molest him. As a result, he developed this fixation on women's breasts. You understand that later. Another interesting thing about his childhood is that he had two brothers, okay? And they had, all the three of them had phimosis. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's phimosis. You know, that skin on his member. Uh, but the parents only operated two of them, the two brothers, not him. They let him without the operation. As a result, every intercourse that he had resulted in pain. So he felt a lot of pain. And there's another thing that happened to him that made him feel lots of pain there. But before, I'm going to tell you that when he was very young, too, people say that his father would take him to the neighbor who had cows and to see him killing the cows. But some people say that he would go by himself. It wasn't his father who would take him there, that he would go by himself. He would hide to see the neighbor killing the cows. As a young man, he started roller skating. Here in Brazil, the name Francisco has a nickname. We call them Chico. Chico, okay? So his nickname became Chico the Star because he was very good at roller skating. And he became like a kind of a leader for the young people who liked roller skating. They would follow him and they say he was a very nice, polite person and that he was very vain too because he loved giving interviews to the TV and he would feel very good when he was the star. And he would walk a lot with rock and roll people. So he says he fell in love with this gothic girl, and they had something, and they had intercourse, and she bited his thing, and then he became feeling a lot more pain during intercourse. But the version of the girl is he tried to force her to have, and she bited him. Because she came screaming to her friends like, oh my god, Chico Chico abused me, and they were like, what, Chico, but he's such a nice guy, that's not possible. And she's like, I'm serious, I bited him. She seemed very desperate, so I believe her story. And some people think that's when he started, he became this, he let the monster take place. Well, he had also a homosexual relationship with a boss that he had. Then the relationship was over, and he met this trans woman that he lived together with for a year. And then he would hurt this woman a lot. He would punch her and torture her psychologically. He was like a monster to her. Now I'm going to tell you about how we found out about this maniac of the park. The year was 1998, and the TV went crazy about this story. So the journalists would only talk about the maniac of the park and the journal, everything. Like, I really had the impression that they didn't want him to get caught because they had lots of subjects to talk about. Because here in Brazil, back then especially, we didn't hear much about serial killers, in here. So we got terrified, especially who's from Sao Paulo, like me. We were like, oh my God. How did they find out about the bodies? There was a boy who was playing with a pipe, and the pipe fell into the park, the state park. It's a huge park. It's like a florist. And so, but this boy, thank God, got into that park. Guess where the pie fell? Right next to the body, one of the bodies. And the boy called the cops, right? And they saw that the girl was face down. They saw it was murdered, and that there were bites on her body, and especially the breasts. He was a cannibal, so he would eat pieces of the victims while they were still alive. And that's why I say he's our Ted Bundy. He would rape them, bite them, and then he would kill them strangle them with the shoelace. And then he would come back there to molest the bodies, like Ted Bundy used to do. But the cops only found that body back then, and so they said, "Oh, it was a murder." Okay. A few days later, a guy was studying birds on the park, and he felt a smell. He was like, "This is a terrible smell. Where does it come from?" He thought it was an animal, a big animal who was dead, and then he found another body. So this is the guy who found the other body, and he's showing a reporter in this picture how the body was placed. All of them were like that. And Francisco says in an interview that's how the cows were after the neighbor would hammer their heads. That's why he would place them all like that. You can watch interviews with him on YouTube, but I never found one with English subtitles. But I'll leave you here the link so you can watch one of them, so you can see how soft his voice is and how smart he seems to be. But when the reporter says something that he doesn't like, his face changes right away. And you can see him trying to cry to show some regret. He's very manipulative. There were women who escaped him. Lots of them, thank God, lots of them escaped him. But some of them never went to the police. Some of them went to the police, but you know, they did nothing. Now in Brazil we have more laws to protect women, but they don't work very well. But we do have laws now, but that back then, they didn't care about it. Like, okay, she was almost killed, she was raped, and they didn't care. If they did pay attention to those women, probably lots of the dead ones would not die. If they would catch him before, I don't know, if they paid attention and care about what they were telling them and what happened to them, they would catch him before he killed more people. Well, so before they found the bodies, Francisco was um, indicted by the homicide department because he used a check from a girl who was missing. Her name was Isadora Frankel. So he used a check with in her name, okay, to buy a helmet for his motorcycle. He said to the cops, "Oh, but she was my girlfriend and she gave me that check." Uh, she gave it to me so I could buy my helmet. But she wasn't. She was just another victim. He would wake up. He tells that. I would wake up and sometimes I wanted to do it, sometimes I didn't. And if I felt like doing it, I would leave my house very early and look for the saddest girl I can find. So he was in his motorcycle. Oh, and the cops let him go, okay? He said she was his girlfriend and they believed him and let him go. Anyway, so he would find this sad girl who was looking down, and they all were all physically alike. So he would hunt for a long time. He would look for the victim for a long time. He would hunt them. And he would stop the motorcycle and say, "Hi, you're very beautiful. Why are you so sad?" And if the victim says, for example, "Oh, I just lost my job, I'm looking for a job," and he would say, "Oh, now you're lucky. I am a talent hunter, and you're so pretty. Look, I have a camera." So he had this photograph camera, and he also had a card, but the name was Jean. Jean was the guy who lived with him, a friend that he would share the bill. And the girl was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, now you can revenge those people, those people who fired you. Let's go. I'll take you to a park, a beautiful place that I know, full of trees." And they would go with him. And once he was there, there was a fence because it was forbidden to go into this part of the park. So there was no one there. But he knew how to go in there. He would take a piece of the fence and he would go there. And as soon as he passed that, he would transform into a monster. He says he would let the monster take over him. And he says that when he was taking them there, he was thinking like, "See, she's coming with me. She's a bitch. She's a whore. I must kill her." And the thoughts came into his head, and like, "I must do that. They deserve it." So see, he used to work as a delivery boy for a company, and suddenly he left a note, a letter, like saying, "I quit. I'm not coming back." And under this letter, there was a newspaper with the news about the maniac of the park, and there was a sketch of his face. Ha! How didn't they realize that? I mean, if I'm the boss of a person and he leaves me a letter, and under this letter there is a sketch of him, I'll call the police immediately. That didn't happen. What happened was a very lucky girl, okay, that he was in a hurry. He was in a hurry, but he approached her and he said, "Look, this is my card. Okay, call me. You are very beautiful, and I'm in a hurry now, but I want to take some pictures of you." She took the card, but she never called. And then she saw the sketch on the newspaper and she called the police. "See, I talked to him and he left me this card." So the cops took the card and the number was from this company. So the cops went to the company, and that's when the boss realized the whole situation. So he used to find these victims in a subway in São Paulo, usually Jabaquara station. And he would say, "Oh, we will do an advertisement with you. It's a big company of cosmetics." And all of them say he was very extrovert and nice and convincing. Later, that company found an ID inside a toilet flush, and there was a bone. And later, they found out that bone was from a pig. So the trophy of the maniac of the park was the ID of the victims. But this one he left there inside the toilet flush, which is interesting. It looks like he wanted to get caught. But he ran away. He fled to the south where he was found. But he was fleeing to Argentina. I believe he made other victims in a way, and but that was never proved. So he found a place, a fisherman place, and he asked him, "I can work for you for a while, just so you let me, you give me a place to sleep." And the guy said, "Okay," and "I do anything." And well, he went fishing, but this guy was watching TV, and he saw the picture. This different because he had a beard, but they made lots of examples of him, how he could be, And he said, "I bet it's him." And while he was fishing, this guy went into his stuff and found his document, his ID. And everybody already knew who he was. The whole country was looking for him. And there was the name of his mother, his father. And then he found the ID and he said, "Oh my God, that's him." Call the cops. And the cops went there and catch him. In the beginning, he would say, "I'm innocent." And we have videos of that. I'm innocent. That's not me. I never saw those women. But then he transformed. You can see the transformation in his face. And he confessed. Okay? He said he confessed to 11 murders. He took the cops into a location to find the bodies that they didn't know where it was. Uh, the first one they found was Selma. What impressed the police when they knew the story, when he told them how he would catch those women, you know, is that he didn't have, Ted Bundy's look. And how did those women went with this guy to the florist, and he didn't have a gun pointed to him, to them. They would go with him. They would just go with him. Everybody was impressed, and we live in a world that we blame the victims, right? I remember I was young and I would say, well, those girls were crazy. Why would they do that? And it wasn't their fault. They were desperate. He knew that they were sad. That's how he used to choose the victims. He would look the victims. She seemed sad. He would be, nice to them. What's happening? Why are you so sad? Oh, I broke up with my boyfriend. Ooh, wait for your boyfriend to see you in an advertisement because you're so beautiful. And he would, get to them. So stop blaming the victims, for Christ's sake. Another impressive thing is that until now, he is the record. He has a record of the guy who most receive women's letters. He got married, yes, with one of the girls who sent him letters. This girl who married him started to realize that he was a strange man. Now, these girls I blame, like,
are you fucking crazy? You know this guy killed women and he likes to eat pieces of them. What the fuck is wrong?
therapy. You need therapy. Now. You need to go to a fucking mental hospital. I know there's a name for that, They think they will change the guy. And this is. Uh, Listen, there was another woman who dated him, and she insisted with the judge that she wanted to have, intimacy with him. Because here in Brazil, they can receive intimacy visits, but they have to have a relationship with this person for more than 6 months, and then the judges would deny that, even for his wife. Like, you cannot be alone with him because if he kills you, they will blame us. Can you imagine that? But there was this one girl who got that right to sleep with him, and guess what he did? He bited her breasts. And then, of course, she never came back. I hope she is in a mental hospital right now, treating that thing, or in a very strong therapy, talking to her shrink every day because, you know, girl.
Don't do that.
But now, I'm going to tell you the terrifying part of the story. He's about to leave jail. I'm serious. Okay, that can happen. And I hope it doesn't happen. I mean, everybody hopes that doesn't happen. And there's a forensic psychiatrist who's very famous. His name is Guido Palomba here in Brazil. And he says he cannot leave. He will do it again. And he's trying to make him leave jail to a mental hospital where he can stay forever. The only place here in Brazil that a person can stay forever is a mental hospital. Okay? Like Champinha. Champinha was I'm going to tell you the story of Champinha later, but just to resume, he was a very young boy. He was 17, so he was a minor. And so if he was arrested for a terrible crime, and if he didn't go to this mental hospital, he would leave really soon. Like, and so Guido Palomba said, this guy, this boy cannot leave ever. He's completely psychopath. He will do it again. And now, and he's until now there in the mental hospital. He'll never leave, and that's what we hope happen to the maniac of the park. But he's in jail, and no one stays more than 30 years in jail when they were judged back then. And he was judging back then where no one could stay more than 30 years in prison. If he leaves jail, I believe he will become like a shepherd, a church shepherd, a leader, crazy religious Christian leader. Back then he said, I can never leave jail. He said, the maniac of the park, he said, you cannot let me leave. I'll do it again. He was saying like, you cannot let me leave. And now he's saying, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus now. I will never do it again. I am a good guy, And believe me, there are murderers, crazy people, and politicians. And they were shepherds, and they say they are Christians, and they are and politicians. And people vote for those guys. It's like, oh my God, why? Like people who votes for Trump, it's the same thing here. Is they vote for Bolsonaro and Pablo Marçal, who's also a psychopath. He's running for mayor in São Paulo. He's completely insane. He's a coach, and he's totally insane. And people are going to vote for that guy. It's terrifying. I really hope he doesn't win, but people are completely crazy now. I mean, there's so many fascist people here. It's incredible. The stupidity, the I don't know. I don't know what's happening to the world. I know it's scary. And I don't doubt that if the maniac of the park leaves jail, he becomes like a politician or something. Seriously, I know it's terrifying, isn't it? Well, now I'm going to talk about the victims of the maniac of the park. So, Elisângela Francisco da Silva. She was 21 years old. And she was born in Paraná, but she lived in São Paulo. Due to her financial problems, right? She was a poor woman. She left the school very early, to work. A friend of hers led her in a shopping mall to find a job, and she was never seen again. Due to the time that she's been dead, the recognition of the body took a long time. She used to live with her aunt, and she had the hope that it wasn't her. But the day she left home, she said to her aunt, "I'm back in 2 hours." Raquel Mota Rodrigues. She was 23 years old. Her dream was to make enough money to help her family. So she left her job. She used to work for a furniture store. When she was almost home, it was very late at night. She called her cousin, saying that she found a guy who would take some pictures of her, that she was going to be a model. Her cousin said, "Don't do that. This is seems dangerous. It's too risky." Her cousin said, "Don't go." And she answered, "Yeah, I better not. I won't." She was never seen again. Selma Ferreira Queiroz. She was 18 years old. She just got fired from a drugstore that she worked for. She disappeared. Before she disappeared, she called her boyfriend saying, "I will get home late. I won't get home at time to see the soccer game, but I will get home." Patricia Gonçalves Marinho, 24 years old. Her dream was to be a model. So she lived with her grandmother. She left home and never came back. They found out that it was her because of the earrings and the collars. And the other victims, I didn't find much information, but they're all young women who were sad, who had lost their jobs or finished a relationship. Well, now I apologize because I'm going to laugh reading the letters from the girls who sent letters to him. I'm going to read some pieces of the letters, and I'm sorry, okay? I am going to laugh. Because when I get too nervous, I start laughing. I don't know what to do to distract you, but I have an idea. First, I want to say that I want you every night. It's very good. I think you're hot. My hottie, you are close to me, inside my heart. After I get home, I always want you with my body and soul, loving you. I want you anyway. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Don't lose hope. Believe in God. That's why I say that when he leaves jail, he will become a shepherd. Because someday we will meet. I know about your unhealthy behavior. So I want you to stay calm. Next letter. For now, our kisses are like this. And they used to kiss the letters with the lipsticks. And but I really want to kiss you. I think you miss it. I love you. I love you. I love you. I desire you. I want you with my body and soul. And forgive me for everything I'm suffering. You know, Francis, I'm sorry. There's no way not laughing about it. Francis, I can't accept it and I cry. I need to be strong.
God, I hope this woman is in therapy right now.
Another one, she starts with, "I want to tell you that I'm missing you." She probably never saw him. "I'm missing you, wanting you. Oh my God, how I desire you every night. I sleep alone and waiting you here. But I know it's impossible. The right thing is for me to come to see you." Another one, Francisco, "Don't let sadness take over you and take away the shine in your eyes." The shine in your. Have you seen his eyes? Believe in God. Again, again. That's why they become shepherds. Believe in God. You are not and you will never be alone. Jesus loves you. Yeah, Jesus loves you. Your mother and father too. And especially me. So the movie, The Maniac of the Park, is going to be on Amazon Prime on October 15th. I'm very anxious about it. I'm going to show you the trailer without the subtitles because I couldn't find with English subtitles. I'm sorry, I'm doing this by myself, so I don't have the time to subtitle the video. I have no help. I'm doing this by myself. So I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe to my channel, follow me, like the video, comment. I would really like to know what you think about it. I mean, the laws are very different and stuff like that. I would like to hear what you have to say. And thank you very much.
Está preso o maior assassino da história recente deste país, o maníaco do parque. Este cidadão aqui, ó.
My girl. Meu nome é Lúcia. Eu tenho 22 anos. Eu não sei como é que isso aconteceu.
Tell me where that is lit.
Já são 4 mulheres encontradas sem vida no Parque do Estado. Por acaso vocês têm alguma pista nova? Esse crime não é comum.
Quando você tiver alguma coisa pra mim, você me procura. Uma mão lava a outra, meu amor.
E Helena?
In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine.
Acharam mais 2 corpos mordidos no Parque do Estado.
O que você quer?
Retrato falado.
Os caras prendem nosso maníaco, vamos escrever sobre quem?
Cadê você, filho da puta?
My girl, where will you go? I'm going where the goes, where I'm going. Tell me where that is lit. Last night